Please welcome to the 2019 Project Play Summit, Master of Ceremonies, ESPN host and reporter, Cassidy Hubbarth.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know everybody's kind of starting to trickle in. Take your seats, no worries. This is the 2019 Project Play Summit here in Detroit, Michigan, guys. Give a round of applause for Detroit. And it's fitting that this summit is in the Motor City because we're here to ignite the passion and love of sports of our youth again. And on top of that, this is truly a summit of firsts. It's the first Project Play Summit outside Washington, D.C. It's the biggest Project Play Summit to date with more than 500 attendees registered. And for this big crowd, we have a big agenda. This will be the longest Project Play Summit to date with 2 full days of amazing programming. And on a personal front, it's my first Project Play Summit, and I could not be more excited to be here. Of course, sports really have defined so much of my life. Now, I make earn a living, covering sports on the sidelines for the NBA and in studio for college football, among other things. But this dream come true that I'm currently living really started when I was a kid. And, when sports were really maybe more so part of my life than they currently are. So when I was asked to be a part of the Don't Retire Kid campaign and told how kids are quitting sports at unprecedented rates, I was not only shocked, but I was a little heartbroken because it made me think of the incredible experiences that I had growing up. Having my dad coach me when I was in grade school, my soccer and basketball teams, and the bond that built between the two of us. And then in high school, winning a state title and looking up in the stands and seeing my parents cheer me on. It made me sad to think about those experiences never happening. On top of that, I just became a mother. She's only 9 months, but guys, she's a genius, She's really smart. She's reading and gonna go to college next year. But on top of that, I'm pretty sure she's gonna get 4 gold medals in both the summer and winter Olympics. That's happening. Even if it doesn't happen, though, I just hope she can experience being a part of a team at some point in her life because there are just so many valuable life lessons that I can't teach her on my own. And not just being an athlete. It's about being a good teammate that is applied to my life personally and professionally, at home with my husband and at work with my work husband or my work wife. It's about working together. So I'm looking forward over the next couple days learning ways we can help teach each other how to do better by our kids. So a word you will hear a lot over the course of the next 2 days is activate. There are going to be so many great ideas shared here, but ideas, they shouldn't just stop once you walk out of this room. Take what you learned this week and activate within your own communities when you go home. And speaking of activate, let's get this day started. I'd like to introduce David Egner, President and CEO for the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, the presenting sponsors for the 2019 Project Play Summit.
Your life, chasing a toddler. Welcome to Detroit. We are so delighted that you're here. I'm with the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, and let me tell you why we're sponsoring the Project Play Summit. Ralph Wilson owned the Buffalo Bills, as many of you know. There's a full group here from Buffalo. If you haven't heard them, you'll hear from them. Go Buffalo! Ralph lived here in the Detroit area. Mr. Wilson left his fortune to the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, and one of our areas of interest is active lifestyles, which plays itself out in in parks and trails, green design, youth sports and recreation. But Mr. Wilson himself is a model for many of us. Active as a tennis player into his mid-80s, active as an adult until the end of his life in his 90s. He understood that sports was about far more than competitive activity. Oh, believe me, he was competitive. He wanted to win 4 Super Bowls. He actually wanted to win Super Bowls for 54 years of his life as owner of the Bills. But he also understood that sports was about far more than playing competitively to win. So you've all seen the state of play reports. You know the importance of keeping kids active. Only 13% of kids in the region you're sitting in get the amount of exercise recommended by the Center for Disease Control. 13%. That's from age 5 to age 18. So that cohort every year will turn over. That's a $1.2 billion cost in downstream healthcare and lost productivity annually. So this is a healthcare issue. It's more than that as well. I will argue that this work that you're all involved with is about the very survival and the health of the democracy we sit in. It sounds like a reach, doesn't it? When I started at the Wilson Foundation, I thought youth sports and recreation, it's a really nice to do. I've coached a lot of sports. I played sports. Isn't it lovely? And the more I got into it, the more I realized it's necessary. Think about it. What do we learn from sports and recreation? What do we learn when our kids play? It's about cognitive skills. It's about learning mediation and facilitation skills. It's about creativity. It's about teamwork. It's about productivity. It's about understanding your place in the world on a team and how you contribute. I will argue the very survival of our democracy depends on getting kids active and engaged, and youth sports and recreation is a means to that. So we're delighted to be a lead sponsor. We're more delighted you're in Detroit. We have our Buffalo contingent that's here. We also have a Detroit contingent of sports folks that are here. Detroiters? Those are your ambassadors while you're here in town when you get out of this conference room, so welcome. Your important work matters, not just to sports and recreation, but it matters to our country and our democracy and to the health of these kids into the future. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Get out a little bit in your free time. Spend a little money for the economy. The ambassadors will show you how to do that, and we're so delighted you're all here.